Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Today we'll learn how to play Mother Nature's Son by the Beatles. Actually, probably just Paul McCartney. This is on the White Album, so it's a really great acoustic track. And it uses, Paul McCartney uses his very unique fingerstyle playing that is really all his own. So it really incorporates a lot of like, kind of accentuated melody note, then it kind of really brushing the strings with the back of his nail a lot and coming back and forth. So he has a very definitive rhythmic pulse to it, but not a very definitive pattern that he uses. So let's start here with this intro section. We're in standard tuning here. We're going to base this around a D major chord. So you can hold a D major, but then what you're going to do is add at the 4th fret with your pinky there on the G string. You're going to pick with the thumb the G string, and then you can just use your index finger kind of brushing upwards across the top 2 strings. Then release that pinky so it's just a regular D major chord. Now pick the bass note there on the G string again. Brush those top 2 strings. Then move this first finger down to the 1st fret on the G string. And then brush those same top 2 strings. And then hit the low E. So we have this. And then we go into a riff that has, this one actually only happens once in the song, in the intro here, but it actually has more of a definitive rhythm to it. All right, so we're going to start here with this still based around a D major chord. So you can hit the open D string with the 5th fret there, reaching up with your pinky here on the high E string, and the rest is just going to be played with the 3rd fret here on the B string, and then the 2nd fret there on the G string. So we have this. So what I'm doing here is I'm picking the bottom note with the thumb and the top note with the middle finger, and then I'm just going to strum across the open D, G, and the B strings with just using my index finger, really kind of down, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down. So this. And then grab the next note, melody note, which is the 3rd fret on the high E string. And then the open string. And then you're going to basically, there's going to a hammer on 0 to 3 on the high E string. And then you're going to pick that again, the 3rd fret there with the open D, and pull off there to create a D major chord. So that's kind of the easiest way to play it there. So it is. That little rhythm. Then we can go and play this D as a normal chord, but we're just going to have the open string first, and then hammer on to the 2nd fret. Then hammer 2 to 3 on the high E string. Then back to the 0, 2 hammer twice. So we have this. All right, then we get to the verse and things get a little bit easier. Now the verse happens at the 22nd mark. It sounds like this. there's just a different riff comes in there, kind of, I call it the transition riff. So this is still based around a D chord. We just start with this, hitting the open D and the high E string. This is while you're holding a D major chord. Same rhythm. Then you pick the two outside notes again. This time hammer 2 to 3, making it a D sus4 chord, and then pick that top outside strings again, still holding the 3rd fret. Now pick it again and pull off 3 to 2 with that same rhythm. So we have this. And then we have this, which was very similar to the intro, except now we're going to add that little rhythm to it. So you're going to hit the G string there with the thumb, and just add that rhythm on the top 2 strings. Then the open E. There's going to be a little variation there, starting in the actual 2nd and 3rd verse. Let's try this. Now this one, so let's get a little bar here. It's a little bit challenging of a stretch, but we're going to do A major chord, open A string, and then the bar across the 2nd fret of the D, G, and the B. And the reason why we're playing like that is because we got to reach up here and grab the 5th fret there on the high E string. Now what we're going to do is this. You basically pick the open A string with the B string. So first barred, then strum across the chord once, just with a down stroke. And then you're going to add the 3rd fret here on the B string, still with the open A. So we do this, and then hit the chord again. So you just basically go in between these 2 notes. So play this. Alright, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's not that difficult when it comes to picking. It's a more straight ahead rhythm too. Now the 37-second mark, we have this little transition riff we hear a couple times in the song. It sounds like this. So that starts with a D chord, so hold a D major, pick the outside notes. So you do it like that, and then a couple of downstrokes. Then grab with this, kind of up with your index finger, the 3rd fret there on the high E string. Then back down to 2. Then it goes down to this D minor 7 chord. So that's the bar across the 1st fret of the B and the high E string, and the 2nd fret there on the D. So you're just kind of brushing across those chords. We have this. Then you're going to grab the pinky there at the 3rd fret and slide 3 to 5, and then grab that same chord you did here at the 3rd fret. So we have this. Then back to 5, and then back to the 3, and to D. So it's just based around 3 chord shapes, but you have a little melody on top. So it's like this. So you just want to follow that. Repeat. Kind of get the same rhythm going. Then it goes back through the verse again, the same. So that little fill there happens for the first time at the 58-second mark. It's in the 2nd verse. So instead, before we just did it, But now when we get to that open string, you hit the low E open, slide to 4 on the low E string, and then pick 2 on the A, 2 on the D. And then you're back to the same riff. Alright, so that takes us to the first instance of where he's doing where's the chorus section, I think. He starts with that kind of transition riff we did before, and then kind of moves it around. So it looks like this. It's a really beautiful part when you get it all together. So we start with that same transition riff we just did. So you just do it once, and then we do this. You hit the 2 outside strings of a D major chord, and then play 3 on the high E string, and then you're going to move up to the 5th fret and play this like the opening, the chord that we played in the intro. And this is going to be a rhythm where you're going to hit the 2 outside strings first, so the open D here, because it's based around a D, this entire section, and the melody note on the high E string. So you hit that, and then when you do the 1 downstroke, it's going to be just across the D, G, and the B string. Then you go down to like a D major, so I'm going to play it like this to make it with a bar here. So the melody note's now at the 2nd fret on the high E string. Then the 3rd fret on the high E, then the 5th with this, and then come up to the just play it like a D major chord here. It's actually a G major shape up here, but you're going to move it up here to the 7th fret. So that's going to still hit the outside notes there. So it's the 7th fret there on the high E string, but these other 2 notes there, you still hit the same. And then now the melody note is actually going to move over to the B string. So it goes. So we have this. So always just a 1 little down hit in between it, and then you're going to go to this D major shape, which is just going to be the 5th fret on the high E string and the 7th fret on the B and the G. And then he does the full rhythm there. So we have this. And then you start over. And the second time when you get to this D chord, so from this D, let's learn the top note. So if you can hum that, and then the chord underneath it starts with that D chord. So he's really kind of strumming it and just still trying to accent that high string. So you can start with the 2 outside notes and then strum. And then just move this finger on the G string down to the 6th fret. Same melody on top. So we have this. Sorry, yeah. And then continue moving this note on the G string down 1 more fret. So you can do that by just playing a bar with the index finger across the 5th fret. You still have the 7th fret there on the B string though. So you're just still doing that same melody up top. Then hold this again and come back to the 7th fret on the high string. And then we finally come down to the this kind of a G major shape down here. Bar across the 3rd fret of the high E and the B string with the 4th fret on the G. That same little melody we're doing up here, between 3 and 5, and then take it to a G minor. So that's just a full bar now across the 3rd fret. No, you move that 4th fret down to 3 on the G string. And then just a couple times on that pattern on the D chord. So we have this. Alright, so there's the rest of the song just repeats stuff that we've already done, so you should be able to recognize all the riffs, but you put it all together, it's just a really great tune from the White Album, and you know, it's Paul McCartney, he doesn't really miss much. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.